If this goes. Oh, hi guys. On the couch. Well, it's me on the couch because my special guest is on the chair, her chair. Shona McGrath, who is a local legend. Everybody knows Shona. Thank you for popping in. I wanted to get you in on the back of Malcolm's story about your new van, which looks cool. So you'll be excited about having some mobility once you get your head around how the thing operates, I dare say.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't wait for the independence.
Yeah.
To be able to not just have to ask somebody else to pick me up and drop me somewhere, go away and come back and pick me up. Especially to do trips to see my grandies and my kids, because that's really important to me.
Yeah.
And I miss being able to do that. But I'm nervous because I had a disastrous first ride in my new van. I paralysed from there down, so I had no core. And with no core comes no stability. And we didn't really think about it. And got in the instructor and he goes, right, his hand's like, turn right this way. And of course I did that. And as soon as I did that, went around the corner. My head was nearly in his lap.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was supposed to be driving and controlling this van, but we're on the wrong side of the road with me trying to pull myself up, heading for another car. So we had the emergency stop practice, which went good.
Good.
And I for a moment, I thought, I don't want to do this. And then I thought, that was stupid, that was silly. And a few deep breaths, and away we go. And they kind of stuffed me up with coats and put a belt around me. And once I knew that I wasn't going to land in his lap again, I felt a lot more secure. So
I actually remember when we played wheelchair basketball, you ended up out of the chair, and it was a similar sort of situation where you just didn't have that core stability there, and I mean that must be just it's all part of the learning and the battles, isn't it, for you, I guess?
It is, and I sometimes forget because it's like nearly 3 years now, and so I'm sitting there and I just naturally use my shoulders, push my shoulders back, and that kind of is what holds me in, because as soon as I let hands go, I'll go forward. And so I forget about it now because it's and like in the car, just completely forget about it, because when I'm driving with Ross, I just hang on to that handle thing in the car the whole trip. I'm just holding on to that, and that's my
stability.
Hold me and so they've got to sort that out. They're going to put another brace around me so it'll kind of hold me where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. All right. So for those who don't know what happened 3 years ago, I can't believe that. Man,
it's blown, isn't it?
Just seems like yesterday. Can you take us back there and what happened?
Sure. 4th January 2021. I don't know if you've biked up in the mountain bike park in Christchurch.
I haven't yet, but
amazing resource. So I was up there with my friends from the bike shop and my son and Ross, and we grouped in the kids, and we were just doing some mountain biking around the park, some easy trails, some a little bit harder, and there's a thing called a jump where basically you're just coming off. Imagine that, coming off that, and then you go down, you land. And the last one that I did, I'd done the same jump. The last time I did it, I don't know what went wrong, but I just remember starting the jump, and then I remember being at the top of a berm. The berms are the things that go round like that, so if you've got speed, you've got that to turn and get yourself out of it. Well, I was sitting, next I remember sitting right on the top of the berm, and saying a swear word, and they told me I did, because I was like, how am I going to get out of this? And then of course I didn't get out of it. So I'm told what happened, that I flew through the air head first, landed down in the soil, sand, whatever you want to call it, with the pine needles, with my head sort of half buried and my whole back end scorpioed over the top of my head. And so basically it broke everything on the way of it scorpioing over.
Okay.
I remember very little.
Yeah.
Very, very little. The next thing I remember is Paul from the bike shop around my face getting so I could breathe, because I remember saying can't breathe. I remember saying my back hurts. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
just like that.
Just like that. Yeah. Who said? Someone said they thought I was dead because of the, for a start, but I wasn't. And
Yeah.
I was very, very lucky that I had a paramedic behind me. I think you hear these stories, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's always a doctor or a paramedic or somebody. And I had a paramedic behind me on the mountain bike, and so he jumped into action, and he virtually saved my life because
Yeah.
I'd punctured my lungs and all that. So he somehow held me in a position that I could still breathe.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky indeed.
That's amazing, and it would be a jump that you would. I mean, you were a big biker. You were always, and you running and things, and
Yep.
and it just it wasn't anything spectacularly hard and just
No.
just
No. They my friend who watched it said it was almost like I lost a little bit of consciousness when because I had knocked myself out 3 weeks before, running into Ross around a corner in the house, silly. Don't know how, I don't know, but maybe just that little jolt when I landed that
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
Because they said you just didn't do anything, you didn't brake, you didn't. So whether it was that, we don't know.
Okay.
Don't know what caused it, but no, I definitely wasn't taking risks or anything silly. So yeah.
How was it once? Okay, so you've had the accident, off to hospital, and then you get yourself, I guess, well enough to get some thoughts together about what had happened, and how was all that time? It must have been so surreal, and
Yeah, I was. I don't remember. I'm going to say 2 to 3 weeks.
right.
I was on pretty potent drugs.
Yeah.
I was on fentanyl, which is, as you know, a very powerful drug. And I remember very, very little. I remember being in, I think it was a AAU, type unit, high dependency, and I was hallucinating a lot. I thought I was in a garage under the hospital. Yep, really, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember the doctor telling me that my spinal cord was severed and that I wouldn't walk ever again.
Yeah.
Just a glimpse of that, and asking my hubby if he had it. You got this? He said, yeah. Then I remember, it's quite bizarre, having completely two different, lots of visions. One's seeing one thing out of that eye and seeing the other thing out of another eye. Two different things going on.
Wow.
It was bizarre.
Yeah.
Bizarre, and that was just the way the drugs affected me.
Okay.
So between that and sort of having a good brain injury, I was kind of out to it most of the time.
Right.
When would be the first time I realised? Possibly when they sent me upstairs to another ward. I can't remember what it was called. And then again, there you were sort of like one-to-one, like one nurse to one patient. And I remember I was in the room lying, and you have to lie on your side and get turned often when you've got a spinal injury, so you don't get bed sores. And the way I was lying, you just have to, I couldn't move, so you're actually staring, and I was staring at the sky in the bed across from me. And it was that man in Christchurch who had shot some people, and he had Holden or whatever all over his face.
Oh, really?
So that was what I was looking at.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I was thinking, he's just killed some people, and then some of them, his mongrel mob mates would come in and intimidate, and I thought, shit, I'm better off than those people. They just got killed by him,
Yeah.
And, yeah, so then it was just like, okay, let's deal with this and get on with it. I was never angry, and I still haven't been angry, which is surprising.
Yes.
No anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does surprise me because of just how active you were. I used to see you out all the time and think, God, I should do more. And I do remember when you had your accident, the next few rides I had up the track, man, I took it easy, eh?
Okay.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people who said the same.
Yes.
It really it shook a lot of us, I think, and yeah. But you can't. You've said it before. You've got to live life fullest each day, and you can't go out mountain biking thinking that sort of stuff, can
No,
you? You've
no.
got to get out and enjoy
No.
it, and
Absolutely. And yeah, it's just sometimes that, you know, you're the one that has it happen to them. And there's another lady in Burwood that she hadn't done it on a mountain bike, but she'd fallen off an e-bike and same level of injury, but her cord wasn't severed, and she was quite down and quite depressed, and you know, like she'll never ride a bike, never walk again. But she did. She ended up walking again. So
Wow.
you know, you just never know.
Yeah.
But I knew early that I won't walk. There's no miracles for me because it's completely severed. I do miss. I'll be honest, I miss it. You know, this time of year especially because it's track racing time. I love velodrome track racing.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss it and I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because of course I'd love to, but I just accept that. Well, I've had that. I'm lucky because I've experienced a lot of cool things with my sport. I've got lots of really cool memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you say, you know, you're still alive and breathing, and if it hadn't been for that paramedic and a whole bunch of other stuff, then
no, I wouldn't be here.
What are some of the challenges you face? I know Malcolm was saying that you were having some issues with some intersections down near Cass Street and places like that. What are those sort of day-to-day things that?
Yes, they the crossing of the roads is quite a major issue for me. Took me quite a long time to get the confidence. You know how they sort of go down and then they go up, and then sometimes they've got that little tile lip on the top.
Right.
And so the wheelchair, you need to have sort of a bit of momentum to get over that type of stuff. But if you get there and then you've still got that little lift, sometimes that's enough to unbalance you and send you flying backwards.
Okay.
I've had lots of falls. Just last week, I've got, excuse my hair, that's why it's a mess because it hasn't been done. I've got a big gash on the back of my head because last week I fell out of my chair and split my head. And yeah, I don't know, they look lovely, all the intersections and roads, but I'm not sure that the consultations were done really well with people like me and even elderly people with walkers.
Okay.
People with prams.
Yeah.
They're not that easy. Maybe young people that are really clever in their chairs and a little bit more agile, have got a little bit more core.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I'm back to the stage that I've got my anti-tips on, which are those things at the back.
Okay.
I haven't had them on since I'd had them on for 6 weeks in Burwood, then they were gone.
Okay.
And I'm back to having them on. And I got a taxi this morning because I'm nervous now. I don't, you know, it's not my confidence.
Okay.
And like I thought, well, I'll go across the road, but all the new curbing and channeling they put down Burnett Street, it's got a big lip on it, so I can't get up there. So it's like, that's a huge challenge.
I know some people in council, so
huge challenge.
Maybe we could get them to talk to you.
Yep.
What else is sort of
challenging types things when you're in a wheelchair? Obviously shopping.
Yes.
You can only reach what's down there. Sometimes the eyes are too narrow, and I feel like I've just caused so much distraction when I wheel through, and it's like, I'm knocking everything off the shelves. I realise that, you know, businesses have got to maximise, you know, their displays and what they need to sell, and they need extra space. So I just realise it is just what life is.
Yeah.
And I'm not shy. I ask people. Ashburton's amazing place to live. I'll just ask somebody, can you get that for me? Can you help me with this? And I had, actually, funnily enough, got turned down yesterday. First time someone's ever turned me down when I've asked for help.
Really?
Yeah. And
that's sad.
Yeah, and like supermarket. I don't go much yet. When I get my van, I'll get to do more of that sort of stuff. Disabled toilets. I don't want this to sound like a nag, okay?
No.
Just a highlighting and letting people know. Disabled toilet doors are really heavy.
Right.
I can't open them.
Yeah.
So, and then sometimes they even put the hand dryers up too high. Just obviously they just things like that aren't thought of. Yeah, so disabled toilets, like I'm not going to name anywhere, but sometimes I might have to say to somebody sitting by the door and they might be having a coffee, say, look, when I knock on this door, when I come out, will you open it for me?
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you say, Ashburton people will be,
Oh, they're amazing.
yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Have you had good support since your incident, like from the general public?
Yeah, people are really, they kind of know me, and I often get asked, do I want to push? They'll kind of say, come across the road and say, I'll give you a push, want to push, you know, and I'm always quite honest because I need the exercise. And if I'm tired, I'll be really, yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Or if it's a really, you know, not good old nor'wester. But often I'll say, you know, thank you very much for asking me, but I really need to push to get the exercise.
Yeah.
But no, in across things like if you were going across the railway lines and things like that, and then getting across that main road, West Street is horrific. You know,
Yes.
I just can't do that.
Yeah.
There's not enough time, there's not enough break in the traffics, and that. And so I usually, if I'm at a pedestrian crossing or something like that, I'll ask someone to wheel me.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've only ever been turned down once.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're very lucky in Ashburton that people are kind.
Yeah.
Very kind.
They are.
Yeah.
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 Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Good luck with the van.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be awesome. Congratulations on the new addition to the whānau.
Yeah.
Wee Grandy.
Yeah, little Max.
Yeah, that's so cool. And it's nice to hear your insights and so people can just say, hey, do you need a hand? And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think people just are worried about, you know, upsetting you or something, I don't know, and maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I would say to people, you know, ask, because, you know, I'd rather be asked than be struggling and not, you know, coping, because you can just very politely, thank you very much for asking, I really appreciate that. Because the next person they see in the same situation might really want to help. So I never would want to offend anybody. Never. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're pretty inspirational, you know that.
No, not really.
Yeah.
People say that to me, but I don't feel like I am. I'm just me.
Well, you haven't got angry, and
No, I haven't. And that's the honest truth. I haven't got angry.
I bet you've had some dark days though, where you've just been not angry but upset and.
Only when I get sick. I get sick a lot. Have a lot of infections, and they knock me back, they knock me back really hard. And so sometimes they'll get me down a little bit, because I'll work really hard and I'll be feeling really good, and I'll have a couple of weeks, you know, I think I got to 5 weeks and I hadn't had an infection, and I was feeling really good and really happy, and then bang, I get another one and usually end up in hospital, and then I'm like back to really weak, and that pees me off. Yeah. So but it's just part of it. Yeah. So yeah.
Go you, thank you.
You're welcome.